welcome once again to my channel, and in today's tutorial we're going to create a dashboard using Excel. So the data you see is a sales data set which comprises of customer ID, segment, country, products, discount, sales, profit, and so on and so forth. So based on this data, we are going to create a dynamic dashboard for management to use. So the first thing that we're going to do is that we're going to insert a pivot table to summarize our data. So to insert a pivot table, you click on the first column header, then you go to insert and pivot table. So pivot table helps to summarize data and also create reports in Excel. So now this is our pivot table. I'll change the name to pivot. To know more about pivot table, you can watch my videos on pivot table. Okay, so now this is the pivot table that we've created, and this portion is where you create the pivot reports, and this is where your columns are listed. Then inside these boxes are where you will put your values and column names. So the first thing that we are going to look at is, so our objective for today is to look for sales for the current or the latest year. Then we also look at sales for last year, then sales for, we also look at the sales or the growth in sales versus the current year. Then we also look at profit for the last sales year, then profit for the current sales year. Then we also look at the profit growth versus the current year or the previous year. All right, so first of all, I'll click inside the pivot chart. Then in my values box, I'll drag sales and place it there. So this gives us the total sales for the period. Then I also drag, I want the sales for the previous year and the current year. So I will drag the date column into the rows or under the rows or inside the rows box, but I need only the year, so I'll get rid of the quarter by just holding it and dragging it back here. Then I also drag the date because I want only the year. So this gives us only the year. I'll select and apply, come to home, then I'll use this to apply or to format it so that I get it in this format. So basically this is our sales for 2013 and 2014, and the data is made up of sales for 2013 and 2014. So this is what we have. So you see, pivot table has been able to summarize the data for us. And the next thing that we will do is we want to find the sales growth versus previous year. But before we do that, I would like to also add the profit field. So I will just insert one. I'll insert cells here. I'll click in this once again, then come to profit. So I'll look for profit in my column, then drag it under the sum of sales. So this gives us the sum of profit as well. So back to what I was doing, I'll calculate for sales growth versus year, then profit growth versus previous year. Okay, so basically I will do a calculation for this. So to do the calculation for sales growth versus previous year, you click in the first cell, equal to, then you call the cell name. So the total sales for the current year is in B5. So B5 divided by the previous year is B4. The value for the previous year is in B4, then minus 1. So this gives the sales growth between 2014 and 2013. So you select it and come here and choose the percentage symbol. So this gives us a 249% growth. I'll do same for the profit, equal to, so previous profit, the latest profit is in C5. So C5 divided by C4, which has the previous year's profit, then minus 1. So this also gives the profit growth between 2013 to 2014. So I'll select this once again. So we had 236% growth in terms of profit. Okay, so we are done for the first session of our project. Okay, the next thing that I'll do is to insert slices or filters to help us filter our data. So what I'll do is I'll just click in any of the values, then come here. So we will filter based on segment and also country. So I right click on segment and choose add as filter. So add as filter will add a slicer or a filter into our sheet. So you just resize it and place it somewhere here. I'll click on it again and right click on country and choose add a slicer. So this also adds another slicer which is linked to the report that we just did. So to check the link, you can click on the slicer, then go to options, then you click on report connection. So you see that it's checked, meaning this pivot table is linked to the country slicer. We can also do same for the segment. You see it's checked. So once it's checked, it means this pivot table is also linked to the segment. So now we can filter by segment and also by country. All right. Okay, so in our next project or in our next section, what we're going to do is we're going to create tables for our data, and the table is going to be sales per country and also total sales per segment. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll go back to the data, click on insert, pivot table, existing worksheets, then I'll click in location, then come back to pivot and choose any cell, then okay. So this creates a new pivot report area. So as I said, we are going to create total sales per country. So I'll quickly drag sales to the rows column, then also sales to the values column. So this gives us total sales per country. So I'll select and format it. Okay, I'll make a copy of this once again, then paste it here, then just come here and change from country to segment. So now we have two tables, one for total sales per country, then another for total sales per segment. The next thing that we'll do is to create slicers for both tables. So I'll create a country slicer for both tables. So I'll click in any of the values, right click on country, then add a slicer. Okay, so this gives us a country slicer. I'll just right click, slicer settings, and give it or change the name to country table, then 1. Because we have already created a country slicer, I want to differentiate this with the first one. So now this table is connected to this slicer. So when I click on Canada, it will filter based on Canada. France will filter based on France. The next thing that we need to do is to connect this table to this as well. And to do that, I can just click here, then go to options, report connection, then choose pivot 7. So this pivot table is pivot 7, then okay. So now when I filter by country, it affects both tables. So you see both tables are filtering. Okay, right. So we are done with this section. And the next thing I will do is to create another set of tables to connect a segment slicer. So I will click here, go to data, insert pivot table, existing worksheet, location. I come here and choose this cell, then okay. So this creates another pivot report area. Then I'll pull country here once again and sales here. So now we have this for sales. I'll format it, make a copy of this, paste it here, come here, change from country to segment. Okay, I'll click in any of the values, right click on segment, add a slicer, right click on it, go to slicer settings and add tables to it. Table. Okay, so this creates a segment slicer connection to the first table, which is country. So to connect the second table, which is segment, to it, I'll click on the slicer, come to options, report connection, and choose pivot 9. So pivot 9 refers to this. So now when I filter by enterprise, it affects only these two tables. Okay, the next thing that we need to do is to create two charts. So I'll create a column chart for sales per country, and also create another chart for sales and sales per year. Okay, but I forgot to do one thing. In these tables, I want to add the year because our task is to compare sales per years. So I'll come back to this table and pull year to columns. Okay, the error that I got is because this extends to overlap this. So I need to create, I'll select here, then insert. I need to push, yes. So I'll come back here once again and pull here to this side. So now we have this. I'll also do same for, let me get rid of this. I'll push, or I'll select this and bring it here. Okay, then I'll put this slicer somewhere here. I'll click inside this, then I'll pull the year. If you don't see year here, you can use date. Then at the end of the day, you remove the quarter, then date, and you get your year. Okay, so I'll pull this one here once again. All right, so why we are doing this is that we are comparing sales from 2013 and 2014. I'll click here, then drag year to this side. I'll click on this and drag year to this side, to the columns. Okay, now we don't need the grand totals. So what I'll do is I'll click in the table, go to design, then grand totals, then I'll put it off. I'll do same for all the tables of grand totals of, I come here, grand totals of. Okay, so we are set with this, right? So the next thing that I will do is we need to create two charts. So one will be charts for sales per product. Okay, so I'll go back to data, insert pivot table, existing worksheet location, come back to pivot, then click here, then OK to get a new pivot report area. So I'll select product here, then sales. I want to calculate the total sales for each product, so I'll pull sales here. So now we have total sales for each product, and we will need to create a bar chart for this record. And to do that, let me format it quickly. Okay, so to do that, I need to come to click on any of the values, come to analyze, then pivot chart. So I'll choose a bar chart for this, then OK. So this creates a bar chart for this, and I'll just right click on it, on the buttons, then hide all buttons because I don't need them. I also don't need the legends. Then I will rename this to total sales per product. Okay, then also let me format the chart a little. Come here, I don't need the primary axis. I want to insert data labels. Okay, so we have something like this. I also don't need a grid line, so I'll get rid of them. I'll click on any of one of them, then delete. I'll click on one of the labels, make it come to home and make it bold. Click on the products, make it bold, then click on this and make it bold. Okay, so I think we are good for now. Then I need to also create a slicer for a product. So I'll click in any of the values, come to product, right click on it, add a slicer. So this creates a slicer for the product table and chart. Okay, and the next thing that I need to do is to create another chart, which will be a column chart. So data, insert pivot table, location, existing worksheet location, pivot table, then I select here. Okay, so this gives us another pivot table report, and I will need to create I want to compare the sales and price for the different sales years in terms of quarter. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll drag year. No, let me put date because I'll need the quarter as well. Then I'll get rid of the date and leave years and quarters. Then I'll pull sales here, pull sales here. So now we have 2013. If I drop down, I'll see the quarters, but I don't want it in this format, so I'll change the report view. So I'll click in this, come to design, Then report layout, I choose tabular. So this is how I want it to look like. Okay, home, then format. But what I need to do, or what I want to do, I need to add the unit sold as well. So I'll add unit here to get this. Then I'll move out of the pivot table and create. So I'll just do something like this, equal to, then the year is in A51, so A51, I get it, I drag it down to pull 2014, I delete the zeros, then I drag it across to get for the quarters. No, before that, let me not get rid of the zeros first. Let me drag and apply first. Okay, yeah, so now I can get rid of the zeros. So this will be our sales. Then I will need the price. So to do that, I will just do equal to, and I'll divide this by the unit sold, which is under D51. So divide by D51, enter. No, I don't think this is what I want. Let me delete this. So I will divide the total sales by, I'll divide the total sales by the units sold. Okay, so equal to is C51 divided by D51 rather. Okay, so this gives us the price per unit. Then I'll just drag it down to apply. Okay, so now we have the price per unit. Okay, I'll do my first chart, which is the column chart. I'll select all the data, come to insert, recommended charts, then I'll choose the first one. So this creates the first chart for me. Okay, so I'll right click on the chart. No, before that, let me shift this to the side a little. Okay, so I right click on the chart, select data, then add. So add, I will choose price as series name. Then here I will drag from here to this side, then okay, then okay. So this creates another chart. Then I'll right click again, change chart type, I come to combo, then I select this line with markers, then I check this as secondary axis. So this creates the line chart that I want. Okay, so I'll do a bit of editing. I'll select this and make them bold. Then I'll click on the line chart, come here. No, I'll right click here and choose format plot area. I'll select this, I'll click on the line chart, then come to this side, No, I'll select on this, come here, then labels, I'll choose none. Okay, I'll click on this, come here, no, I think I'll come here, then choose data labels. Okay, this is what I want. All right, then I'll click on this and choose data labels. Then I'll click on this, come here, then under labels I choose none. Okay, so this is what I want. I'll drag this down a little. Okay, yes, so this is what I want. I'll select this and get rid of this. Then I will click on this, come here, then reduce the spaces a little. Okay, okay, so this is okay. Let me change this to 10 or 11. Then I'll change the labels to 10. Change this one to 10. Make them bold. I'll make this also bold. Okay, I think I'm cool with this. All right. Right, so I need to also create a slicer for segments and country for these tables as well. The tables that we use to create the charts. So I'll click in the table once again, right click on country, add slicer, right click on it, slicer settings, and change it to country chart 1. So that means this slicer belongs to the charts. Right, I'll come to options, report connection, and connect the last slicer, which is 11. Yeah, so 11 will be this one. Let's check if it's correct. Yeah, it's correct. So it filters both of them. Okay, so I'll create another slicer, right click or click in any of the values, come to segment, right click on it, add slicer, right click, slicer settings, and name it as segment chart. Okay, so this also connects this slicer to the segment, and I need to connect this to it as well. So what I'll do is I'll select the slicer, come to options, report connection, and choose 11. Okay, so now we have this also connected to this table. So when I filter product is not connected to this table, so I'll quickly click on it, come to report connection, and connect pivot 11. Okay, so now product filters both chart tables. Okay, so we are done with the reporting side, and the next thing that we need to do is to create the dashboard.